You're welcome back, and we'll now go to our second topic as President Bola Tinubu hosted the 66th ordinary session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, in his capacity as ECOWAS chairman this Sunday in Abuja.
And at the end of the summit, ECOWAS officially acknowledged the decision of the three countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger to opt out of the regional bloc as from the 29th of January 2025. And joining us now to further discuss the outcome of the summit is Dr. Adoy Matthew Omale. He's the International Affairs Analyst. Dr. Omale, you are welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
And also from the U.S. via Zoom is Ambassador Dauda Danladi, former Nigerian High Commissioner to Pakistan. A pleasure to have you join us again on Good Morning Nigeria, Ambassador.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, let's stay with you, Ambassador. I mean, after all said and done, and the several appeals and entreaties to these three countries to come back, it seems that they are still insistent of leaving the bloc. So what does this mean for the regional bloc? What would be the impact of their insistence of not coming back?
Well, the situation has placed ECOWAS and even the three countries in a diplomatic quandary. And I do hope that the olive branch that has been extended would be taken by these three states to come back to the fold. ECOWAS, as a regional body, is one of the most effective regional body in the African continent. And if you look at what ECOWAS has achieved over the past 50 years, progress has been made with regard to the integration, the economic integration of the region, the collective developmental programs, combined strategies to fight terrorism and insecurity in the region. ECOWAS, when you look at the trading volume of ECOWAS, it's quite encouraging. Today we are looking at an export volume of closely over 154 billion US dollars, which is an appreciable figure. The imports is about 190 billion US dollars. The intra-trade within the ECOWAS countries, you are looking at about 9 to 10 billion US dollars annually. Now, what are the consequences if these three countries insist that they must exit? The first one is the issue of security of the region. And I do hope that they would understand the implication, regional implication of combating transnational organized crime, banditry, illegal trafficking of illicit drugs, terrorism that has bedeviled especially the Sahel region where these three countries are located. Going further, these countries, I do hope, will also realize that the reasons that they have advanced or adduced, I strongly hope that the mediation committee that was set up must have put across to them the consequences of exiting from ECOWAS. And one thing that is very, very clear is that we should not, ECOWAS should not relent in its effort to redouble diplomatic efforts to persuade these countries to come back to the negotiation table. Of course, in such a situation, there must be compromises from both sides. And this time around, perhaps ECOWAS should go a step further by involving non-state actors. I'm talking about religious leaders, civil society organizations, eminent personalities, our traditional institutions. They should all be involved to bring our three brothers back onto the negotiating table. Now, in fact, the immediate impact, presently there are ongoing projects and programs which is being supported by ECOWAS to the tune of about $500 million. These projects are projects that will affect and will impact on the livelihoods of their citizens. In the pipeline, there are other programs and projects worth about almost over $300 million also, which the regional financial institution is supporting. Now, you cannot in this era, there's no way you can fight transnational crime, combat the menace of terrorism without a multilateral body like ECOWAS, so that you will have a combined strategy and efforts to ensure peace and stability in the ECOWAS region. My take would be that the olive branch that has been extended up to next year, that effort will be made, and for them to see reason, for them to come back and join the body.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ambassador Nladi. You've raised some pertinent questions, some critical areas that needs to be looked into by ECOWAS in order to continue to, mediate between them and the countries that want to, leave the ECOWAS region. We all grew up knowing that ECOWAS is one, and these countries are part of the countries that were part of the founding fathers of ECOWAS itself. Let me bring in Dr. Matthew Omale into the conversation now. We need to talk about the disengagement process. We know what happened with Brexit. Nigeria is given, and ECOWAS is given 6 months or 7 months to be able to disengage in the process. Do you think it is also to create room for mediation between these countries? And because there's so many agreements, so many MOUs signed between these countries, and we are bothered by them. What will happen if mediation doesn't work?
Well, thank you very much. I think ECOWAS has been very, very considerate by trying to set up mechanisms to resolve the disagreement between ECOWAS and these three countries. In international relations, dialogue still remains the best option. And I'm happy that ECOWAS, led by our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has decided to opt for dialogue. This is a very, very important aspect of the mediation that is going on. President Faye of Senegal and President Faure Gnassingbé of Togo has been saddled with this responsibility. And I think from what we read about the report to the ECOWAS is satisfied with the mediation effort thus far. And I think that informed the decision to extend, though they were supposed to exit by January, that must have informed ECOWAS decision to extend it to July, giving a 6 month period, so that the mediation efforts by the committee set up by the ECOWAS can really have enough time to address most of the issues. Having said that, ECOWAS is a regional body that has been set up to integrate the sub-region, and with the decision that these three countries have taken, to my mind, as somebody who is on the sideline looking at the issue critically, I don't think that majority of the people of these three countries are in tandem with the decision that the leadership has taken. This is because culturally, historically, the people of these three countries in the Sahel have had series of interaction with other countries, especially countries like Nigeria. And for the leadership to have just woke up all of a sudden and made this type of decision is very, very worrisome, not only to even their citizens, but also other people that have been looking at issues of ECOWAS. Because let us look at the issues from this perspective. What are really the grounds of these three countries? Just because the military took power by the barrel of the gun, and ECOWAS was to wield the big stick based on its own decision that military intervention is an aberration and must be resisted. And when ECOWAS was to wield the big stick to discipline the leadership that has taken power by the barrel of the gun, they are reacting by saying, okay, we will pull out of ECOWAS. So to me, it is just a self-serving decision which ECOWAS should do all within its powers to ensure that it does not hold. And I'm happy that ECOWAS is taking this direction. I'm not saying that events that led to the military intervention in those countries, I'm not saying that they are right, but military intervention, since ECOWAS have already a protocol against to sustain democracy and to also improve good governance in the region, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger should also understand within the context in which ECOWAS condemned the military intervention in those countries. And I'm happy with the way ECOWAS is going to try and see if a compromise can be reached. And I think ECOWAS, in the spirit of appeasement diplomacy, ECOWAS have done a lot. Initially, there was supposed to be an outright invasion to flush out the military junta. That was kept aside. As we speak, President Bazoum of Niger is still held incommunicado. He's still being held under house arrest, which is against international norms. So ECOWAS, I like the way ECOWAS has taken the matter, and I think we are close to a resolution.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mali. I mean, ECOWAS has handled the matter, diplomatically, and just like you said, and Ambassador Danadiolo said, dialogue is still the best way forward. Okay, let's go back to Ambassador. Ambassador, I mean, from what you have said, that they shouldn't give up on dialogue because of so many issues that are involved. What happens if the dialogue totally fails and they still insist that they are moving out of the bloc? What will be the economic implication and other implications that you foresee?
Well, there will be grave consequences, and I do hope that they will take this olive branch. But the alternative, if it becomes impossible for them to come back, the alternative may be perhaps to now ECOWAS may look at the alternative of going into an agreement with the alliance of the Sahel countries. That perhaps will pave the way for a framework to recalibrate the existing agreements so that at least there will be peaceful habitation. But I strongly feel that if ECOWAS, Nigeria in particular, headed by the President, Tinubu, and the Commission, if it redouble its efforts, use non-state actors, because as has been said by the Speaker, that we share common historical and cultural antecedents with these countries. For example, look at the proposed 241-kilometer rail line that will link Kano to Maradi. that was a welcome program by both Nigerians and in Niger. The proposed Trans-Sahara gas pipeline that would at least transmit about 30 billion metric meters to Europe. That is a very formidable source of revenue that all countries will benefit. So I have a very strong feeling that when the civil society organizations are involved, the religious leaders, the people are meant to be aware, I think they will also put pressure on their leaders to see reason and to come back. But if that fails, then the only alternative may be perhaps ECOWAS will have the alternative of going into an agreement with the Sahelian alliance, see how the consequences can be mitigated. Now, one critical thing that has to be said is that the mandate of ECOWAS, these countries are all signatories to the mandate of ECOWAS, the promotion of democracy, good governance. And I truly feel that perhaps we have to review possibly its program comprehensively to lay more emphasis on prevention. That is, where constitutional transgressions happen, there are human rights abuses, I think it would be right, it would be right for ECOWAS to really impose sanctions before these issues gain grounds that will lead to a military takeover. I am looking at it from the side that if elections are conducted free and fair, ECOWAS has been doing that.
I'm sorry, we've run out of time, and we have to pause you there. Thank you so much for coming on Good Morning Nigeria today. Ambassador Ladi is a former Nigerian High Commissioner to Pakistan. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's come back here to the studio for your final words, Dr. Adoyi Matthew Omale. In just 1 minute, can you tell us what this implies, to other African countries on the ECOWAS bloc? If Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso disengage from ECOWAS, what message is this sending to other members of the ECOWAS bloc itself?
Well, if they succeed in moving out, it's not a good omen for the regional body. Others may be tempted in future to also exit the regional body. But you see, I am very, very optimistic that Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, at the end of the day, may not exit. The ECOWAS stem from the fact that with the intervention that is going on, with what Ambassador has said, bringing in non-governmental organizations and other people, pressure should be brought to bear on the leadership of these countries, so that they can remain in the regional body. In the interest of the country and also those that to integrate, and so to me, I'm very optimistic that something is going to give way.
Thank you. That optimism is good. And that's where we end this conversation.
We're optimistic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matthew. Dr. Danladi, thank you, former Nigerian High Commissioner to Pakistan. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Well, that's Good Morning Nigeria for today. Thanks for being with us. I'm Ademola.
And I'm Julius. Do have a pleasant day. Another interesting topic will come tomorrow.